Today I'm going to be doing the long-awaited tutorial for my Interstellar cover, performed solely on my Roland S-1. First we'll take a look at the basic sound design, then the pattern, and how you could either play or record this into your S1 sequencer. Lastly, I'll step through my performance and how I was able to make this repeating pattern sound dynamic and fresh. Feel free to skip around if you only came for one of those steps. First, let's take a look at the basic sound design. I use the saw, sub, and square or pulse oscillators for this piece. At the beginning, the saw reigns supreme, but both the sub and the square come in pretty significantly. Here are the values. I set my filter frequency cutoff relatively low at the start of this song. That way there's room to grow. However, I have the envelope, or how much the filter is affected by the ADSR envelope of the S1, pretty high. This way the intensity of the sound grows with the envelope as it goes through the ADSR pattern. ADSR, or attack, decay, sustain, and release, is nothing too non-standard. Decay won't really matter for this song because I keep the sustain relatively high at 255, the attack is at 40, and the release at 111. The release I'll be extending during my performance, and the attack pretty much stays where it is. The sustain I went high because there are going to be low notes during this that I really want to stand out as I'm punching in other parts of the melody. LFO won't matter right away. That's actually not correct. It should be set to right around 105. But you want to set it to around 105, 100 or so if you want to perform similar to me. Waveform won't matter at all because the LFO won't actually be affecting the oscillators or the pitch. These are the only two where the LFO really matters. It will just be becoming a modulation source for the pulse width. Then we have some slightly more hidden settings. First, let's take a look at suboctave. We have that as -1 octave. Pulse width modulation, or PWM source, is going to be the LFO. PWM depths will be 0 at the beginning. Environment trig is going to be set to trig, but that will be changing during the performance. Amp is just set to environment. Nothing too crazy there. Last but not least, we have the effects. Delay is going to be set to 0. This song doesn't really utilize delay, but it will be affecting the reverb quite significantly. So I have it set to 199 as kind of a large reverb, but some room to grow if I want to. And then going into the reverb menu, we have it set to spring, the time set to 200, the level set to 199, so that way the main bits of our piece are still reigning supreme. I don't like having a reverb too high in the mix. The pre-delay will be set to 20. The low cut is 250. This just will cut out a bit of those lower tones. I think that this keeps kind of a cleaner song, and then also the high cut will be cutting down to 12.5K. If you have it on flat, everything gets reverberated. If you have this to 12.5K, you cut off a little of what I consider to kind of muddy up the mix. Oh, and I almost forgot, but the density should be set to the maximum of 10. The song itself, while sounding impressive, is actually very easy to play. On the S1, on octave 0, you only need A, B, C, D, and E, and then octave -1, you need F, G, and A. Starting in octave 0, all you do is play A, E, pause, A, E, A, B, E, pause, B, E, B, C, E, pause, C, E, C, D, E, D, E, and then for the last one you go back to B. So all in all, it sounds like this. I made a couple mistakes there, but I'm just going to keep this in. Then all you do for each of these A, E, B, E, C, E, and D, E sets are playing on -1 octave the F, G, and the A with each one of those. And so for the A set, you play F. For the B set, you play G. For the C set, you'll be playing A, and then you go back to G for the D set. And so that is going to look something like this. Alright, to program this into your S1, first you're going to want to set your pattern length to 44 steps. Then you're going to want to clear out any note motion, or note data. So now we go in here and it's completely empty. I'm going to hit A, hold for 1, go to 3, hit E, hold for 1, and then we want to pause. So 5 is just going to be a rest. So then we're going to go back to A, hit it for 2. And so now if we listen to that, see? And so that is the A section. And the section actually sounds the exact same every time, except, and the pattern length is all the same, except for that one addition as you play the D set, where you'll actually go back to B instead of that final D, like this. Everything else is the exact same as that. So just to take a look at it, we have A, and that's held, and then E, E, and then a rest, A, E, E, A, and then that's it. And so now to do that kind of, it doesn't sound like the full song. So we're going to go down 1 octave, and if we open this up, you can see here's our A right there. So we're going to go back and find F right here. And we're going to go back to step 1. And then all you have to do is press this. And now, that's all. And then you have that whole section. And so just to make it really clear, let's also do B. We're going to hit B, hold, E, hold, rest. You know what? I'm doing this in 1 octave lower. So let's actually do it in the correct octave. We're going to hit B, hold, and then step next, B, hold, pause, and then back here. And so if we go back here to 12, we'll then just hit G. Yeah, once again, wrong octave. So let's just go down 1 octave. We'll hit the G. And that's all it should go. Let's play that. And so the full piece, when all in all, will sound something like this. Great. Now I will break down my performance. So if you want to stay for this section, it's pretty much going to be recreating what the video is seeing, but if you can't tell or you're curious about some of the actions I'm doing, feel free to watch. So how I perform this song is I start, and let's just make sure everything is in the right spot. That's kind of what I do anytime I've set up a song. Just make sure I hit pattern and then go through everything just to make sure it's right about in the right spot. Alright, cool. So I'm not going to walk over every step of my performance, really just some of the bigger things that I do to make this sound very dynamic as I'm performing it. And so if I just hit play, start off, of course, increasing the filter. Just having more of that sound come in is always good. And then the biggest thing is just increasing the resonance. Because when you increase that resonance, I think it feels a bit more metallic and spacey, and I just think that really fits with the song. And then of course I'm increasing the sub a lot during the song, and then also the square a bit. However, one of the biggest things I do during the song to really make a big change, and I do it about midway through because I think that's about where people might be getting bored, is envelope trig. This is currently set to trig, which means every time a note is played is when the envelope gets set off, which makes sense. But to make things a bit interesting, I actually switch it over to the LFO. And that's how you get that wavy sound that gets repeated more often. And I think that really just adds an aspect of kind of confusion, especially because you can speed it up and slow it down. And I personally would recommend cutting down the frequencies a bit when you pull this in. Just because when you cut down the frequency, it makes the transition a little more smooth than if you just go from on to off. And so now just keep opening that up. Get the frequencies really high, get the resonance really high. And then what I like to do is actually I will open this motion recording back up, and I'm just gonna and you're gonna have to play around with that motion recording, but as you can see now that when I watch it, I have that motion recorder automatically happening, and that just adds another step to the performance of the song and kind of how it changes throughout. And then once you increase a little bit of the reverb and a bit of that, you're really mostly there. And the last thing I do is increasing the pulse width. So that is a tutorial on how to do the sound design for, program, and play my Roland S-1 cover. Hopefully you can make your own, improve on it, and learn from it. Thanks so much for watching.